Okay, folks, the Biden administration has accomplished something. A significant economic stimulus package that will infuse the economy with hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars, has just been authorized. Take a look at this. I already shared it with you on my channel. May provide a $980 billion boost to homeowners at no extra expense. The Oracle of Wall Street claims that this is significant because, having just authorized it, it provides the Biden administration with a means of stimulating the economy without really creating money. Going to start small with only $2.5 billion, and I'll let you view a video of it here. However, I think we can all agree that this is not going to stay that way. Given that it was recently approved, the mortgage behemoth will grow very rapidly. Titan Freddie Mac receiving the go-ahead for this hazardous trial initiative from the Biden administration. Listen to it and let me know what you think. This will inject billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars into the U.S. economy. The B administration for a pilot program that would guarantee second mortgages up to $2.5 billion throughout the course of an 18-month trial period. This is a move that basically places the burden of hazardous borrowing on taxpayers, raising the possibility of losses akin to those that preceded the financial crisis of 2008. At a time when a lot of homeowners are still struggling with debt from a second mortgage, repercussions of the last housing bubble here with Michael Bree, the CEO of the Action Structured Finance Association and a former president of Ginnie Mae, the sister of Fannie and Freddie Michael. Nice to see you. Let's discuss the effects of the government intervening and guaranteeing second mortgages. What changes do you think will occur in the economy? Thank you for having me, folks. It's wonderful to see you. First, you mentioned that Freddie Mac is carrying out this action, but Fannie Mae is going to have to comply with what they usually do, which is why pilot projects in Washington start small and never remain that way. While we're delighted that they're beginning at $2.5 billion, I don't think it will stay there. In fact, I think we've jumped the shark. On this one, the Fed is trying to address consumer spending, which is actually too high. You can obtain mortgage loans through banks and other institutions, but if the government subsidizes and incentivizes equity extraction through second mortgages, we're not solving any problems in our economy. When the government intervenes, it significantly intensifies the situation. We hear about increased inflationary pressures, rate lock effects, and equity removal from homes, which implies that individuals won't sell and relocate given the current supply issue. Ought to be furious. I believe that first-time home buyers are unable to enter the housing market because it is too expensive. This will just make the issue worse, so I'm not sure how we're going to address it, other than enabling someone with a modest income to own a property. Rate higher fixed mortgage on their property, often if you're unable to refinance correctly and release the equity you can refinance, but you'll have to do it at a far higher rate. In other words, this is a hoodwink transaction. Let individuals release this equity on taxpayers' backs. Who is behind this, and whose politician is in charge of essentially allowing this to turn into a consumer lending business? Yes, that's correct. They are consumer loans that are subject to bank regulator regulation. As consumer loans, since that is precisely what they are, and banks continue to offer them. Additionally, the Fed is now utilizing interest rates to combat inflation. Thus, while it attempts to control inflation and limit consumer spending, Inc. You're perfectly accurate that taxpayers will bear the greater risk of secondhand loans as Fannie and Freddie utilize the public balance sheet to attempt and reduce consumer spending for reasons we don't really understand. I simply don't believe that this is the trend we want to be declining, but I have to assume that Joe Biden caused the inflation problem. As a result, he now has a government remedy, saying, "I'm going to let more Americans tap more equity in their houses and not have to refi the entire situation, and the government will intervene to assist you." I believe that politics is at play here, with them trying to convince the homeowner, "Oh my God, I love Joe Biden, isn't he great?" so that we can move forward with this. Equality access in Mayasa. Sure, it is possible. When you were a member of Congress, this was not your notion. We would have disagreed and had a different assurance that, sure, once more, there is no good. Justification for them to be acting in this way. If you're engaged in an inflation war, please keep Fannie Freddie out of it. These organizations are political. The government-sponsored organizations allowed the Fed to inflate, but will this continue to be a pilot program, or is this going to grow even more? We're trying to keep it that way, Sean, but we'll need your assistance to make sure that word gets out that pilot projects don't usually remain that way. Okay, so this recently authorized government-backed scheme will assist homeowners unleash the billions or trillions of dollars of equity they have in their homes if enough first-time home purchasers are upset enough, recognizing that this trapped individuals into not selling our houses if they've been there for a considerable amount of time. Many homeowners have seen the value of their homes double, triple, or even increase by 50%. And the government claims that many people are doing well if it's a story of two stories right now. All right, so a lot of the 70% of people who have invested in the stock market over time, or many others who are struggling due to inflation, high food costs, and 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck, Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Now, these are two distinct situations. Of the 70% of Americans, many may have had a property that has increased in value. They may have purchased a home for $200,000, and now its value has increased to $400,000 or more. Alternatively, they may have been fortunate enough to purchase a property for 150 years ago, which has now appreciated to $300, $400, or $500. Right, and once more, it depends on the state. The government is going to intervene now and say, hey, this new economic stimulus, which will pump billions of dollars into the economy whether you like it or not. If you live in Texas, it may be very different from California. Whether this is correct or not, they have devised a clever method to inject billions of dollars into the economy without having to create any money. They also declared, hey, we're going to be able to back this government back this. Incorrect, as there will be a wide range of viewpoints on this, but those who have equity will be able to access it since they purchased a property for $200 and other people for $300 or $400. Okay, and the government says we're going to go ahead and support them, okay? If the government intervenes and backs them, they could be able to obtain loans for those SE second loans that are lower than market value. That is, lower than market value, because the government is involved, and provides them with guarantees because if the government didn't, the interest rates on the loans would not be as cheap, and more individuals would be authorized for this, given that a large number of people struggle due to rising inflation, and that 70% of people live in paycheck to paycheck. This is how many individuals can access large sums of money in equity, and they're already claiming that approval for several $billion will follow. But we've already seen the headline that they're already projecting, that the potential for this to reach about $1 trillion, $980 billion, as demonstrated here, due to Freddie Mac's introduction into the market. Americans may now have access to $980 billion in home equity lending, with that amount expected to rise to $3 trillion in the future. Whitney is a writer for the Financial Times, I believe. As a result, they are already projecting that billions of dollars might be injected into the economy, which is actually the contrary of what the Fed wants, which is to bring down spending or inflation. The Biden administration protests, saying, no, we want to see the economy grow and we know you can't make this stuff up. However, keep in mind that these are individuals speaking from opposing sides of their mouths. The Federal Reserve does what it pleases, while the administration says things like, no, we want the economy to grow and people you know to have access to money. You guys can let me know your thoughts. The administration is distinct from the Federal Reserve. I'll keep you updated, so be sure to press the like button for us. Hey, this is a method for individuals to generate money without us having to create money and increase the national debt. You guys may let me know your opinions on this. It supports our YouTube channel, so please click the bell symbol below to subscribe and never miss out on new videos and updates in the future. You may learn more about the new military draft bill that includes women by clicking here, or you can do it for free. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video to discover why your bank account could have been stolen.